Well, Paris Hilton's book is out, and all these celebrities this year have been doing memoirs, and I'm quite frankly, I'm kind of sick of it because it's like there's too many damn memoirs. There's memoir after memoir after memoir, and what the only thing I've learned reading these memoirs is that these people live very entitled, privileged lives and just want to talk about themselves. Really, I mean, it did feel like a memoir, though. She talked about her whole life in a nutshell, because you can't just go on forever talking about what you did in detail, but she does talk about things that she's been through that were very traumatic, like alleged rape, having to have an abortion. She talks about assault. She talks about Provo, when she went to the school in Provo and having the orderlies harass her, and she's been through a lot. But the one thing I wanted to say that I've taken away from listening to not just Matthew Perry's autobiography or memoir, or Britney Spears, or any of them, is that birds of a feather flock together. All these people live on the same street, Kings Road in LA. They all run in the same packs, the same circles. They all go to the same bars and nightclubs, which is so funny because after she was saying she used to go to the Opium Den and Dublin's, I was like, I went to all those clubs on Sunset and Hollywood. So I totally get it, and we as the public, when we look at these books, right? I wonder how many of you guys just sit there and just go, obviously there's no difference between being very rich and obviously being middle class or poor, because Paris talks about things that happened to her that I'm thinking, how are you not protected with all the money you had and your parents had? How were you not protected? Am I right? I mean, she talks about her family. She talks about her mom being like a woman that, just very prude, sounds very prude and narcissistic, I might add. Her mom sounds very narcissistic and makes everything about herself, and about how it affects her and her brand. Nicky Hilton, her sister, seems like a really good sister. She sounds like she has a good family. And I think just to know that these things still happen to people, even with a lot of money, like Paris Hilton, it just lets you know that we have a long way to go before we can get to a society where people just have respect for other people and their own autonomy. People have the right women have the right to say no, and no means no. And I hope most men understand this. And I hope more women understand that, you need to report things. Things need to be reported. You need to tell somebody, and you need to press charges. I mean, when I look at all the chains that they own and how many things that her dad acquired, Doubletree, Hampton, Homewood, Embassy Suites, these people are easily billionaires. I mean, her alone with all her brands, she's estimated to be $300 million just in her own brand. So I'd say she's doing pretty good. And one of the things that really stood out to me is the fact that a lot of these celebrities are lacking God. They don't have a higher power. And one of the people that I'm going to talk about in one of my next videos is Kat Von D. And we all know she left Hollywood, I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago. Anyways, a little over a year and a half to 2 years ago. And I saw an interview with her where she talked about leaving and what that's done for her life, and how she's been able to fill that void that has been missing from her life. And one thing that strikes me as odd is all these people, Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Matthew Perry, all the ones that recently have had memoirs, and we've read their books and we've seen, videos on their books. They're all missing something from their life. They're never fully satisfied or happy. Now, I hope she's happy now, being married to Carter and having a child through surrogate. But even like in her darkest times, as she was mentioning in the book, being locked up, because she was drunk driving and all this stuff. And I'm paraphrasing everything. Remember, I'm not quoting the book. I'm just telling you my reactions from this book. Is that even during those times, she sought after things like meditation. She mentions that book. Okay, yeah. So the name of the book was The Secret. So she mentions The Secret and how the jail would play The Secret for the people and help them to kind of like stay positive. And a lot of the stuff she talks about was just so like, it's so this. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say here, but like every one of these memoirs, you can expect to find the same exact thing. I was dating this celebrity at the time. You know, her first real relationship boyfriend was like with Randy Spelling, who's the brother of Tori Spelling. Yeah. Tori Spelling, you know, Aaron Spelling's daughter. I mean, come on, like talks about her clothing and her fashion and how she wanted to be portrayed as she talked to her publicists and her managers about what she really wanted to be able to succeed at and do. And really, it's just so like, it's sad to know that these celebrities are given so much, right? They're given so much power. They're given so much wealth. And the thing that they want most is just to make more money off of their brand, which is selling fashion and clothes and stuff, useless things that nobody really ever really needs, right? They're not looking to change the world. They're not looking to end hunger. They're not looking to end poverty or help people. They're no Mother Teresa, that's for sure. They're looking to sell their perfumes and their clothing and their merchandise. And it works because, you know, what do people want? They want what the celebrities have. They want that lifestyle that the celebrities have. So they all look to these people and think their life is better than theirs. And when you really read their books, you find out these people are so shallow. They're so vapid. They have nothing to offer other than, I just want to be wealthy. I want to be well known. I mean, we saw that in Matthew Perry's book as well, where he basically says he makes a deal with God, whoever God he's talking about, that he wants to basically be a famous person. And you see it with Britney Spears and her mom, you know, exploiting her. And I find like a lot of the stuff that you see with these people, right? All the things they've gone through, whether or not they're rich and they come from a conservative family or they come from a liberal family, they all have the same thing in common, the same kind of personality or archetype, right? Which is a very narcissistic, capitalistic, vain persona. And I find people that read these books online and they're like swooning over these people, like detestable to me, because it's like, why are you swooning? They're just a human. They're just a regular person, just like you and me. They're not supposed to be swooned over, you know. They're just telling their story. And what's fascinating is that they have all these chances. Like she mentions in the book about Harvey Weinstein and that she was trying to, I guess, talk to him about something. And all he did was be slimy and weird and follow her into a woman's bathroom stall. And I'm thinking to myself, even those situations, how come you didn't speak out? Like I understand she says in the book, that's why I don't speak out. It's because people are going to ask me questions and they're going to say, why didn't you do something? Or why don't we do something? Why don't we do something? Why don't we do something as women? Why don't we, the minute something like this happen, instead of feeling shame or guilt, why not go and report it to police? You're a Hilton. He was Harvey Weinstein. You're a Hilton. Your parents were mega rich, even from the 80s. Okay? You could have gone to the police and filed a case and had that taken care of. I think it's because overall, Paris, you wanted to make sure you still had a chance. Like if you did want to go into acting or movies, you knew Harvey Weinstein would be there and you would need him in the long run. So it's not because of you feared the backlash of, you know, people asking you questions or you just wanted to brush it aside. It was more so to not cut ties. Most of you guys just don't want to cut ties. Anyways, what do you guys think if you read the book? I read it. I listened to it. I've streamed it. I've done everything. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It's much more of the same. So you're really not missing out on anything. If you read any one of these memoirs, you've read them all. Anyways, have a great day. And remember to think for yourself.